I had traveled to the outer rim of the Erendor system as part of a human diplomatic mission, unaware that my entire understanding of power, beauty, and danger would be shattered in a single encounter. My assignment was simple: observe, report, and maintain peace between the human colonies and the Crithalian Empire. That was it. Routine, mundane, and safe. Or so I thought. The first time I saw her, I thought she was just breathtaking. She walked with a confidence that made every observer falter in their gaze. Her skin shimmered with iridescent tones that shifted like liquid sunlight, her hair flowed like ribbons of violet and silver, and her eyes seemed to contain entire galaxies within them. I'd been around plenty of alien delegates before, but none had this aura of raw, unrestrained allure. "She's incredible," I muttered under my breath, careful to stay inconspicuous. Then she turned, and her gaze met mine. For a heartbeat, the room seemed to collapse in on itself. I didn't know how to look away. She walked toward me, her presence a gravitational force I could not resist. "Do you know who I am?" she asked, her voice calm yet authoritative, resonating with an underlying strength that made every word weighty. "Ah, I think so," I stammered, hoping to appear confident. My brain failed spectacularly as I added, "You're the sexiest alien woman alive." Her eyes narrowed slightly, and the air seemed to tense. Around us, the room went quiet. Conversations paused, a subtle hum of awareness spreading through the assembly. My stomach dropped. Clearly, I had said the wrong thing. She tilted her head, studying me with a penetrating gaze that made me feel simultaneously scrutinized and exposed. Then she spoke again, softer this time, but with unmistakable authority. "I am the queen of the Crithalian Empire. The sexiest alien woman alive, as you call me, is irrelevant. My identity commands more than mere admiration." My mind went blank. The weight of her words settled over me. This wasn't a mere diplomat or noblewoman, this was the ruler of millions, and I had addressed her as if she were a flirtatious stranger. The beginning. In the days that followed, I learned what it meant to be in the presence of Crithalian royalty. I was invited or summoned to her private chambers, a place both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The walls shimmered with alien bioluminescence, the floors reflected light like liquid crystal, and the architecture bent the rules of physics itself. Everything about her environment screamed control, authority, and perfection. She entered silently, as though the room itself had opened to receive her. The first conversation was formal, rigid, but even then, her aura of command was palpable. "You will address me correctly," she said without preamble. "Your compliments, while noted, are irrelevant here. You will learn respect, or your stay in the Empire will be uncomfortable." "Yes, Your Majesty," I replied, bowing instinctively. My usual confidence had evaporated entirely. She walked past me, her presence so overwhelming it was almost tactile. I noticed the subtle shimmer of her skin, the intricate patterns that marked her lineage, and the way the air seemed to respond to her movement. Every detail was deliberate. Every gesture was authority manifested. "You humans are reckless with words," she continued, stopping to study me. "You mistake beauty for power, allure for influence. Yet here you are, speaking freely. Curious, bold, or simply foolish." I swallowed hard. I didn't mean disrespect, Your Majesty. Intent is irrelevant," she said. "Actions and words carry consequences, and here, words are dangerous." The middle. Over the following weeks, I became an unwilling pupil in her court. Every day was a test, tests of intellect, tests of patience, tests of endurance. She challenged me physically and mentally, pushing my limits beyond anything I had ever experienced. One morning, she led me to the cliffs overlooking the twin suns of Crithalia Prime. The light reflected off her shimmering skin, casting fractals of color across the landscape. Humans are weak, she said. You rely on routine, predictability. Yet survival requires more. Adaptation. Observation. Understanding. I think I'm adapting, I said cautiously. Her lips curved in a faint, almost imperceptible smile. Perhaps. But surviving is not enough. To stand in my presence as an equal, not subordinate, you must comprehend the full weight of the empire, my rule, and your place within it. Her lessons were relentless. I learned the history of Crethalia, a civilization that spanned hundreds of worlds, with customs and rituals humans could scarcely understand. I learned their language, their codes of conduct, and their intricate systems of politics and influence. Each day was a lesson in humility, endurance, and awareness. But there were moments of unexpected humanity. Late one evening, she allowed me into her private gardens, where alien flora glowed softly under the starlight. She handed me a crystal sphere that pulsed with a faint inner light. This will attune you to my aura, she explained. Only then will you understand me, not just my words, but my intentions, my emotions, and my will. I hesitated, then accepted it. A warmth spread through me, a connection forming between us that transcended language. For the first time, I understood the depth of her power, and the weight of her isolation. The revelation. Not all was smooth in the court. A faction of Crethalian nobles challenged her authority, claiming no human could ever serve in her inner circle. Threats, whispers, and intrigues followed me everywhere. One night, the palace alarm blared. Assassins had infiltrated the outer courtyard. She moved like liquid lightning. I barely had time to follow her as she neutralized threats with precision and authority. And then she stopped, turning to me, her eyes blazing. You endure, she said. You adapt. You are no longer merely a human observer. You are part of this empire now. Your presence here is sanctioned by me alone. In that instant, I realized the truth. Being in her presence was never about flattery or beauty. It was about survival, understanding, and proving my worth in a world designed for those far more powerful than humans. The conflict. Even after surviving attacks and political intrigue, I faced internal struggles. How could I reconcile my awe of her beauty with the overwhelming sense of authority she commanded? How could I exist in a world so alien and yet feel a strange connection, a thread of understanding and trust growing between us? She tested me constantly, yet subtly, through conversation, observation, and small challenges. It became clear that her wild, commanding nature was not chaos, it was deliberate. She was teaching me, preparing me, and evaluating whether I could stand beside her not as a guest, but as a trusted companion in the empire. The resolution. Months passed. I grew more confident, more aware, and more attuned to her presence. I learned to navigate her challenges, anticipate her movements, and understand her intentions. Slowly, the fear and awe that had initially overwhelmed me transformed into respect, partnership, and a cautious admiration. One evening, she led me to the throne room, filled with Crethalian nobles. All eyes were on us. This human, she said, her voice ringing through the hall, has endured, adapted, and proven himself worthy. He is not merely my guest, he is acknowledged in my court, respected in my presence, and accepted by the empire.